I'm Mike for Path and Post Real Estate, and you're probably watching this because you heard the term title fraud and want to learn more. So let's get technical. Title fraud happens when a criminal forges signatures on a deed to transfer the title of a property. Buyers, sellers, and even property owners who have no intention of selling can be victims of this crime. Let's start with seller fraud. A fraudulent seller is a criminal who doesn't really own a property and sells it to a buyer anyway with forged documents. The buyer later learns they don't legally own the property. Unless a buyer purchases owner's title insurance, the buyer could potentially lose all the money they paid at closing. This happens when criminals comb through online public records and target land most often. Sometimes they target homes with absentee owners like vacation homes or homes owned by a corporation or estate. They generally prefer properties with no loan against them. The scammer poses as the property owner, asking a real estate agent to list the property and often communicate via email, text, and phone calls, never meeting the listing agent in person. The fraudulent seller claims they want a quick cash sale and are willing to list below market value so it sells quickly. They also ask the closing attorney to do a mail-away closing because they live out of state and can't attend in person. Convenient, right? This enables the criminal to falsify documents, including impersonating a notary. The unsuspecting buyer wires significant funds to buy with cash, and once that money's been wired to the fraudulent seller, the buyer's money's gone, and the buyer doesn't even own the property. There are ways to protect yourself from this, though, and you're probably already thinking about some of them. As a buyer, make sure you work with a knowledgeable real estate professional and closing attorney. Buyers should especially watch out for land or home sales directly from the owner. Criminals know a fraudulent sale directly to a buyer is an easier target for them to successfully commit seller fraud. Listing agents should verify the seller is the real owner using multiple forms of identification, meeting in person, and asking lots of questions. A legitimate seller knows more about the property that can be found in public court records. Buyer agents should confirm the listing agent has done adequate research to verify a seller's identity. And additionally, a buyer agent should recommend a trusted closing attorney with strong technological tools and safeguards in place. So, what about buyer fraud? This is when a criminal posing as a buyer steals a property right out from under the owner by filing a forged deed to transfer the property into their own name. This happens when an owner doesn't even have their home or land for sale. After filing a fraudulent deed, the fake buyer applies for a loan to steal the real owner's equity. Then, the criminal buyer fails to make payments, exposing the actual owner to foreclosure and credit damage. Sometimes they even take it a step further and try to sell the house or land as a fraudulent owner. This is why, when you buy real estate, it's important to choose a real estate brokerage and closing attorney who are experienced at watching out for the signs of potential fraud. The best attorneys invest in systems and safeguards to protect against fraudulent seller transactions, and buyers should purchase owner's title insurance on land and homes they do purchase. When you own real estate, use FANS, which stands for Filing Activity Notification Services. FANS is like a digital watchdog for your property in Georgia. The system will instantly email or text you about any activity, like a deed change or refinance that's recorded against your title. This is a free service and is available at fans.gsccca.org. You can also watch out for signs of home title theft. No longer receiving important mail or bills due to a fraudulent address change, receiving mail or bills or collection notices for accounts you never opened. You should routinely check your credit report and keep your eye on that credit report for anything unusual or unexpected. Annualcreditreport.com is approved as a free service by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And if you suspect something, consider a free credit freeze on all major credit bureaus. A link for that is down in the description. And last, work with trusted partners. Although title fraud is not as common as other types of identity fraud, the number of incidences of title fraud, they're increasing. Being aware of this growing problem is the first step to avoid being a victim. Working with someone you trust in real estate and taking personal safeguards to protect yourself is key. When it comes to buying or selling real estate in North Atlanta, you deserve better than an average agent. Seek a strategic guide from Path & Post.